You're muted.
You're muted. Oh, man.
That's my thing.
One of these days, we will get an opening right, but apparently it's not today. Holy moly. What's up, folks? It's Monday. Happy Monday. I was so worried about like talking in the background when we were kicking this thing off that I muted myself and apparently forgot to turn it back on because, that's the way podcasting here at Patriot Source Podcast works, because we're more interested in finding the truth than we are getting this technology thing right. Although I think I might have figured out some technology. I can see myself on Rumble.
Yep,
Look,
we are
I
on
see,
Rumble. I see it.
folks, if
right
you
there.
are on Rumble, can you do me a favor and drop a comment in there if you can see us? Because it looks like I'm live on Rumble. It looks like I can see us over there. And I think YouTube, I think we got that one nailed down. How's it going, y'all? SK, how are you? You're muted, SK, just in case you were curious. No, she's happy Monday.
Happy Monday. Can I not see any of this other stuff because I didn't log in through the
You gotta actually log in to like go look at the channels. Like I have them up on the background back here in front of me. You got to do that stuff. How's your Monday?
It's been good. I did a lot of research today. That's about it.
We gave SK some assignments, some homework. We were texting earlier and she was like, I'm so much better at this when you give me assignments. I'm like, we did. Hopefully you finished them. We did.
I don't think we're ready to go down that path yet.
What's going on, Nom? How's your Monday?
I'm very annoyed. I'm very annoyed with libs, leftists, Democrats. Said in the video last night that even though Erica Kirk may have forgiven some people, I do not. Not even close. I am actually more angry today than I was yesterday than I was the day before. So that's my own thing that I've got to sort out. But I am very, very, very annoyed with the radical left.
And I got to be honest with y'all, my favorite version of Nom is when he's annoyed. I remember when I was telling SK and folks over on TikTok about Nom when he was still an anonymous faceless account because he was hiding back there. And I was like, you guys have got to meet my brother because he is savage when he gets angry. And hopefully we get a little bit of that today, because what we're going to talk about here in episode 8 is the Charlie Kirk effect. What has been the effect and what will be the effect of assassinating one of the generals of this generation? And he is an absolute general across the board, not only in a political sense, cultural sense, a civil rights sense, but also from a faith perspective, a general. And I heard the executive director of Turning Point, not the executive producer, the other day talking about how they didn't even realize the impact that Charlie Kirk and their organization was having on the culture until after he was assassinated. And they defined him as a prophet. And I was like, I can't disagree with that. Not like a prophet that is like a fortune telling prophet. And I think we all know who those people are. And by the way, I'm all in favor of prophecy. I think it has a time and a place. And we're going to actually hear from one of the world's most accurate prophets today, a guy by the name of Kim Clement. I've got something I want to share with you all from him that he prophesied back in 2011. And I think it's incredibly relevant today. But from the sense of a prophet is somebody who is martyred for their effectiveness. And that's exactly what Charlie Kirk is and was and will be. But I actually have a surprise for you guys. I know I talked about this in my video that I released, and you guys are getting ready to have a real treat, because SK and Nom still haven't seen this yet. But for all of you who have been following this podcast, you know how frustrated I have been with my lack of technical ability to be able to create something that is at least somewhat professionally consumable from a podcast perspective. Our opening video is awful. I don't really know how else to say it. It's awful.
It's better than no opening video.
I don't know about that. I'm not so sure. Not so sure. I made it on my phone.
Do you have a different song?
I do have a different song, and I have an entirely new video.
Okay.
I want to do a lot. What do you guys think? Down in the comment section, what do you think? Should we do a live reaction video of the new opening video? But before we do that, hold on. I actually have some other treats for people too. I want to do the video last. And I promise, folks, we're going to get into this because this is an important podcast tonight, but we're going to have a little bit of fun too, right? All right. So first things first, check this out. Check it out. Check that out. Isn't that awesome?
That's freaking cool. It's very cool.
It looks so professional.
That's because it is
It's crisp. It's very crisp. But are we going to get a golden microphone there, or is that Charlie gets the only golden microphone in the business?
I think there's only one golden microphone, and it was just
And Charlie
passed down
has
to
it.
Charlie.
Yeah, Glenn Beck gave it to him. That's right.
I think we have to get to 10,000 subscribers before we can assume that we should have golden microphones here. But
right, we'll
eventually,
We'll take
all right.
a-
All right. So
Great
there's the first surprise. You like it?
Dude, I love it. I think a white background. We need to play with both of them. You need a contrasting background.
Well,
Let's try that out.
I think we can get a white version of this. All right, now here's the deal. So for those of you guys who haven't been following along and don't follow us over on TikTok, you'll probably have caught on to the fact that the logos that we have been using are basically screenshots of our TikTok profiles. Like that's how lame this has been, right? I went on my phone over to TikTok and I took screenshots of each of our TikTok pages and I'm like, let's just use that as logos for us. But I had a friend of mine who's incredible graphic artist. He actually builds graphic design for podcasts and web pages and does documentaries. He's incredible. So I reached out to him last week and I said, dude, you gotta freaking help me because this is freaking embarrassing. So first thing he did for us is he created a new podcast logo. Second thing he did for us is he actually created brand new logos for each of us. SK.
Can we put these on our accounts?
Oh yeah. He said they are ours and we can use them. Look at that.
That is awesome.
Look at that.
Tight.
Isn't that sweet?
That is
Yes.
sweet.
Nom, you're next. Hold on. I got one for Nom too. Hold on. Let me find it. Oh, that's not the right button. Guys, I'm excited about showing you this video. All right. Nom, you ready?
Yep.
Okay. Here's Nom. This is cool. Dude, look at that.
Yeah,
That looks just like Fifi.
it does look exactly like Fiona. For
That
those
looks
of you that
exactly
don't know,
like Fifi.
Mrs. Nam and I have 3 pugs. We've got a 13-year-old Guadalupe, which we call Lupe. We've got a 7-year-old Rosita, which we call Rosie. And then the baby is 3. She's Fiona or Fifi. And that looks exactly like Fifi right now. That's
Looks
amazing.
exactly like Fifi. All right.
Mrs. Nam will love that.
All right. Well, she can have it because they are ours. We paid for them. All right. And then, of course, for those of you guys who care, I had to make myself one too because, I mean, why not? Look at that. Isn't that cool? And for those of you who don't know, that is actually my flag and it is flying right now.
Yep.
I put it back up. Nom,
I was
can you
gonna
tell people
hang-
who don't know what a black flag is? Can you give them a
It
history lesson real
means
quick?
it means no mercy, no quarter. There will be no mercy when you are taken captive. There will be no captives. There will be no quarters. We are at all-out war. We're taking no prisoners. There will be no quarter, is what that black flag means. Which is where I'm at right now.
Yeah. Say that again. All right. Now, here's what we're going to do. It's time to show the video.
Let's do it.
All right. Now, I
Sounds
need
like
you guys to
Christmas.
give me
Sounds like
give me
Christmas
just a
morning.
moment. I'm going to cue this up and I want a live reaction. I want a reaction from both of you and then everybody in the comments too. I'm stoked about this. Are you ready?
Yes.
You ready? Here we go.
The bullets and the punches and the riots have been flowing in only one direction for too long.
I've been trying to tell you guys this whole time how corrupt all of these things were, and here we are.
It is not our responsibility to fix something they spent years intentionally trying to destroy. Unity can only happen in a country when you have a people who agree on what the outcome should be.
That was awesome.
That was so good.
I mean,
Love it.
Do I really sound like that?
Yes.
I
Yeah.
hate it.
I thought that was pretty sweet.
That
So
was great.
my buddy, I got to give him props. I'm going to put the link to his website down in the description of these videos a little bit later, so you guys can all see it. But if you are in the market for any type of graphic design, and YouTube, Rumble, this is not a branded video. He's a friend of mine. I paid him for this service and he did a fantastic job. So I want to make sure that he gets credit for it. His website is AshtonHicksStudio.com. AshtonHicksStudios.com. AshtonHicksStudios.com. And he's incredible. Not only that, but he's a Christian, which is kind of
so. There's two people in the Rumble chat asking if they're seeing W. Apparently, there's some new folks. Yes, Patriot Dad and I are twins. We are twins.
That, you know, it's funny. Right before we went on, I was like, dude, I need to shave because we're starting to look an awful lot alike.
Yeah. Well, I've got a conference coming up next week, so it's hair and beard cut day. Sometime
See,
like Monday or Tuesday next week.
I don't think you guys look that much alike. I think
that we have been told that our entire lives. It's either we can't tell you apart, or you're like, I see the resemblance. There's no
I
way
see the resemblance, but I don't think you look exactly alike.
Our entire life, we've heard that.
Yep. All right, let's get into this. So, what does the world look like after the assassination of Charlie Kirk? Because it has been an absolute crap show over on the radical left. A crap show. I want to show you guys a quick video, and I think this will kick us off. All right. So this is one of the lunatics on the left, right as Charlie Kirk was being assassinated. And I want to share with you guys what their perspective of how this was going to go for them. All right. So bear with me while I get this pulled up here. This is going to make your head spin because these people are freaking insane. Insane. All right. Ready? Here we go. Come on. Come on, technology.
Thing is that he is not martyr material, so his death will mean nothing. It will activate no one. It will impact few. It's just great.
I think 227,000 people would beg to disagree.
It's worse than that for her. I saw that video. Seen it a couple times. I have not done a clap back on it yet because I think so many other people have done a great job. 277,000 people is what was tracked devices when the area that was geofenced. 100 million streams is what they tracked. 100 million people around the world watched that thing. 100 million people is who watched that memorial service. But this is what's really going to piss her off. Like really, really going to piss her off. Before they decided that they were going to assassinate Charlie Kirk, there was about 3,500 Turning Point chapters in the United States between high school and college. They've got 62,000 requests for new chapters. That's like 20x.
Yeah. And
Do you know
there
what
are
Charlie
kids
Kirk's, you know what Charlie Kirk's lifetime goal was?
in every
To get to 20,000.
Oh, I thought it was in every high school, and there were like 200 and something thousand.
Amazing. Sorry, SK, I didn't mean to step on your toes. What were you going to say?
No, you're fine. I was just saying that there's even younger kids younger than high school that are wanting to get involved and trying to figure out how to get involved. So I think they're going to probably expand it.
Well, we saw that stuff. And I got to be honest with you. I mean, we're going to need parents are going to have to like be vigilant with this stuff. Like parents our age, though my youngest is freshman in college now, so it's not really on me. But those of you with younger kids out there, there are parents right now that are like literally doxing the names of students who are trying to get Turning Point chapters set up in their schools, and they're like taking the names of the kids and they're like spreading it around town, and they're trying to dox these kids to embarrass them and to scare them from starting. Parents, we're going to have to go back to school board meetings again. In fact, if you've left the school board meetings, you probably are doing it wrong in the first place, but you're going to have to go back to the school board meetings because this is completely unacceptable.
Well, one of the largest volume of people dancing in the streets after Charlie Kirk was assassinated, because this has been tracked, and there are tens of thousands of accounts that have been identified and put into a database, and we know their names, we know their faces, we know who they are. Tens of thousands of them, and the largest portion of that are teachers. Teachers.
Yeah.
And the second largest are people in the medical field.
Which is crazy scary, that if you have an emergency and you show up to the emergency room and you happen to be wearing something that indicates the way that you vote, I mean, it's terrifying to think that people might not take care of you. That's scary. But the indoctrination starting so early is terrifying.
SK, you may know this in all your research. How in the hell did we get to a place in this country where we have public school systems? And I mean, I know how we got there in the university level, but at the public school level, how the hell did we get to a place where you have teachers who are openly celebrating the assassination of another human being?
We have the teachers unions and the amount of left-leaning organizations and communist, Marxist, all of those things that exist on the left. That's where they are far left. And that's where all of the student union money goes. They give millions, tens of millions of dollars to leftist organizations.
Yeah, I mean, in the question you asked, you actually answered your own question, right? You know how it happens in the universities. I mean, you have to understand every single one of these teachers matriculated through a university, right? To get there, and they were taught all this Marxist, absolute gobbledygook bullshit, and they took it down into their high schools. But you also have to understand that there's a concerted effort to get liberals in these professions on purpose to do this. This is exactly what they wanted. They wanted to create a situation where your 5-year-old is going to be taught by someone who would cheer when the president or, you know, a leader or a general in the MAGA army gets assassinated. Because I guarantee you, they celebrated when Trump got shot at twice, well, almost a second time, and they will celebrate if someone takes another shot at them.
These people are sick.
In the protest groups, they have these conversations about what they're going to do when that happens, and they talk about how they're going to throw these parties and they're going to celebrate. And I mean, they're talking about somebody dying, losing their life. And as much as I disagree with a lot of politics of, you know, Biden and Harris and lots of people, I don't want to see them dead. They have families, they have hobbies outside of politics. These are people.
They're absolutely people. They're human beings. But it brings me to my next video clip. I don't know if you guys have seen this yet or not. I'm sure you have. I have edited this down for time because it was over 4 minutes long. But this is a clip of one of my favorite Trump officials, Stephen Miller, showing you what the effect of assassinating Charlie Kirk will be on these people.
To mourn Charlie Kirk, but also to dedicate ourselves to finishing his mission and achieving victory in his name. The day that Charlie died, the angels wept, but those tears have been turned into fire in our hearts. And that fire burns with a righteous fury that our enemies cannot comprehend or understand. We will prevail over the forces of wickedness and evil. They cannot imagine what they have awakened. They cannot conceive of the army that they have arisen in all of us. You have no idea the dragon you have awakened. You have no idea how determined we will be to save this civilization, to save the West, to save this republic.
You're still on mute.
Darn it. That was good. I
You
said,
are too,
holy
SK.
moly,
You are too, SK. by the
Stephen
way.
Miller is pissed. And folks, if you aren't paying attention, the last person in Trump administration you want to have pissed off at you is Stephen Miller. I mean, he's the brains behind the Trump enforcement agenda. He's the one who's designing it. He's the one who is driving it. He is the mastermind behind the immigration enforcement actions. This is the last guy you folks on the left want to have mad at you. And yet here you are assassinating one of his friends. You people are stupid.
He's savage. He's Absolutely savage. I remember when all the stuff was going on with Abrigo Garcia, there were reporters outside the White House asking him questions. And he was like, do you even know what these things mean? Do you even know what a withhold from removal is? Like, and he was like, you guys had all weekend. You guys are reporters and you didn't even look up the law that you guys are asking questions about. You have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah. They're not reporters anymore. They're stenographers. So, I mean, you're going to see more of these. You're going to see more assassination attempts. They're not done. They're just getting started. In fact, all we have watched for the better part of a year and a half now actually was Luigi Mangione was after Trump, right? It was after Trump. So a little bit more than a year, about 14 months. Every single one of these was an attempt to soften society, soften us up to the idea that, hey, political assassinations happen. And it's just part of life now. That's not going anywhere. They've been normalized. You've seen how many tens of thousands of videos of people celebrating this. They've been doing this intentionally. They are not done trying to assassinate people that they disagree with. And I can guarantee you that. And I hope that our intelligence, in fact, I know our intelligence community is aware of that, which brings up an interesting angle. But
They
we'll
are
go to
very well aware of that, aren't they, SK?
They are. They are very well aware of that, and I feel like they're on it. I feel like they are probably on the right path in finding these people and holding them accountable, and I hope it happens.
And why is that? You can pat yourself
For
on the back a little bit.
well, I mean, it wasn't all me, but yeah, I mean, they're just tracking all the money and tracking the funding. All you have to do is follow the money, and it leads directly where you want it to go.
That's right. But folks, here's the deal. I know Nom is painting a pretty gloom picture, but he's right. These people are not going to stop because they are members of an assassination death cult. For all of the allegations of MAGA being a cult, you are looking at an actual assassination death cult that is led by demonic influences, has gotten into the hearts and the minds of so many people on the radical left. It's a death cult. It's an assassination death cult, but it's not working. We saw some early results coming out of really important states like Virginia, for example. So Virginia has a gubernatorial race coming up here very soon. Winsome, what's her name? Winsome Newsom, is that her name?
Winsome Sears.
Winsome Sears, sorry, I'm not good with her name, who is the Republican candidate, was getting trounced for quite a while, as a matter of fact. And very recently, one of the side effects, one of the impacts of the left assassinating Charlie Kirk has been a groundswell from an electoral response. So we're starting to see some numbers come out of Virginia that are frightening if you're a leftist. Because remember, the whole point of terror like this is simply to try to get people to back down, to change their behavior, to change the way they look at things, to get out of the public square, to give them back the space, the territory that we have taken over the last couple of years out of fear. And the problem for them is that it's not working. So Michelle Maxwell reports breaking news out of Virginia. And it's the kind of news that should make every Republican's heart race with pride. The numbers are in and they are stunning. Conservative, Republican-leaning counties are shattering expectations in early voting, leaving Democrat strongholds in the dust. In Dinwiddle County, turnout is soaring to a jaw-dropping 82%. 82% in early voting. That's incredible. And it's about damn time Republicans learn how to vote. If they're going to give us access to early voting, we darn well better use it. Now, I do think that we need to get rid of extended voting. I think we need to go down to 1 day of voting with voter ID, all the things. But if they're going to give you access to it, you got to use it. And this Goochland, which by the way is a real place, Goochland is not far behind at 72%. Hanover, a rock solid conservative territory, is holding strong at 62%. Look, folks, and it says these are not just numbers on the page. They are proof of a movement, proof of energy, and proof that the Republican grassroots is more alive and determined than ever. Now, she goes on and she says, let's look at the other side. Democrat heavy regions, the very places the left always counts on to deliver them big margins, are lagging embarrassingly behind. Norfolk County is sitting at 43%. Charlottesville is at 42%. And in some areas, the numbers are cratering to as low as 31%. Folks, she says that's not momentum. That's apathy. That's a warning for the Democrat Party. The voters are telling you idiots. Go ahead.
Sorry, I thought you were done.
I am. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, first of all, can you imagine being in Goochland from Dinwiddle County? That's wild. But also, that's Abigail Spanberger's race, too. And she's a former CIA. She's shady. I mean, like, super shady.
Well,
And
she's got her own problems. Keep going. Sorry. But she's got her own problems I want to get to.
her donations go through Act Blue as well. And she's super shady. And her husband is in, he worked for the L3 Harris Technologies or whatever it's called. I mean, yeah, super, super shady.
So Abigail Spanberger's, this is an important name to understand. So part of the apathy that's going on here is probably just as likely due to the fact that she is running a disgusting, racist ass campaign. I mean, let's just be honest. So we saw one of her paid campaign staffers in the wake of Charlie Kirk's assassination go out there and celebrate it, like all over her thing. And this is a paid Abigail Spanberger. But that was just after a couple of weeks ago, you had an unpaid volunteer, an old white woman in her 70s, holding up a sign at a Winsome Sears campaign event saying, Winsome Sears, if trans people are not allowed access to our bathrooms, blacks are no longer allowed to drink from my water fountain. That was a campaign. Granted, it was a volunteer, but that was a campaign volunteer for the Abigail Spanberger campaign. That's the quality of people that is working for this woman. And it's also why their numbers are in the toilet.
Isn't that the same lady who is a professional protester who is seen in multiple different protests around the country working for Abigail Spanberger? Her name is, apparently.
Yeah, I bet if Tony Saruga were to look that up, he could probably find her.
Oh, we already have it. I'll see if I can find it. I did a video on this. She is a paid protester. Go ahead.
Oh, good.
And Victoria Newland donated to her campaign. And yeah, she was a CIA officer from 2006 to 2014 in counterterrorism, nuclear proliferation, and intel gathering. She worked at Royal and Company, an education consulting company. There you go. Yeah, Anita Dunn, she was endorsed by Emily's List. I mean, her husband, his name's Adam. He's an engineer, L3 Harris Technologies. He's a software engineer. It used to be DCS Corporation, or he used to work for DCS Corporation, and then the L3 Harris Technologies thing merged. He's like literally in like nuclear technology stuff. They're both deep in the deep state.
Isn't it crazy how the Democrat Party is now almost entirely, at least their leadership, entirely staffed with former spooks and CIA and FBI operatives?
It's almost like there's a color revolution going on that's being led by the Democrat Party.
Or not almost. It is. It is. And I think it's pretty freaking clear that it is. I mean, we've got the 1630 funded Chorus Media color revolutionists who are being paid to drive that narrative online. You've got the spooks and the FBI, retired FBI folks that are on CNN, MSNBC, NBC, ABC, CBS, all of the rag legacy media. It's funny how these people leave government service and they go directly to the media to continue to push out the propaganda that they helped to create. I mean, that's the network of propaganda, and it's all controlled by the ruling oligarchs, which SK has done a fantastic job of mapping and showing us. And there's a lot more work to do on that. The Democrat Party is basically just a propaganda machine. That's all it is.
Well, and how is it ethical to have your wife be in Congress and you're a defense contractor getting defense
They're
contracts?
all married
What?
to each other. I mean, at every talking head on every major media outlet is married to somebody in the intelligence community or somebody. I mean, they're all married to each other. It's one giant incestual circle thing
That's true.
that I'm
It's
not going to
true.
say. All of them.
Yeah. And she was on the Foreign Affairs Committee. I mean, all of the people that have been not great, although she was in the House, which is not the same as the Senate. But I mean, Biden was the chair of the Senate Foreign Affairs Committee. I mean, the list is so long. That's where all of the corruption comes from.
Well, maybe that explains this then. Because for that opening video, this is the response.
God bless America.
Did you see that crowd yesterday?
Oh, yeah.
There was videos flying around social media of people sitting in miles and miles of traffic at 5 a.m. to go to a memorial service. Has there
Yeah.
ever in the history of the world that you are aware of been a memorial service that attracted that type of support and attention?
No. And did you see that overflow arena next door? It was completely full too.
Hundreds of thousands of people stopped what they were doing and went to Arizona to a memorial service for somebody that wackadoodle lunatic leftist that I showed you at the beginning said wasn't going to have an impact. Folks, I don't think people understand the true impact that Charlie Kirk, Turning Point, and really the fire that he has set in a generation, in the belly of a generation. But I think this actually goes much, 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 much deeper than that. This isn't just about like a reaction to something from my perspective. And I don't know if you guys agree with me. If you do, great. We can talk about it. But what you saw over the weekend and over the last week is not a reaction to an assassination of Charlie Kirk. This is providence.
Yeah.
This is prophecy being fulfilled.
I completely agree with that. And I think a lot of it also has been driven by the reaction of the left and how shocked people were when they saw, the teachers and the healthcare workers and people from their own communities, even in small, tight-knit communities, people coming out and saying horrific things and showing their true colors. And I think people are just completely disgusted.
And it's not just a few people. It's not just, it's not just the 300,000 that showed up there, or the 100 million that logged in online, or the probably hundreds of millions that tuned in through other means. I started last week. I rebooted a prayer live on my TikTok account that we did during the election. That was incredibly, I think, impactful. And we rebooted that last week. Just in a 60-minute prayer live yesterday, we had over 4,000 people come through that live. 4,000 people. And all we were doing was praying. That's it. 4,000 people logged on to TikTok, came to a live just to hear a couple of people pray for this country. What the heck is going on?
Well, the impact is going to be so far lasting, so far reaching and long lasting. I don't think anybody can really comprehend it. I mean, just outside of the entire like faith aspect of this, just consider what Charlie Kirk did to bring young men into the conservative fold. And basically, I mean, and Erica said it yesterday. She said that the young man that assassinated him was the exact type of person that Charlie Kirk was trying to reach and trying to speak to and trying to talk to, right? So he was so effective at that they assassinated him for it. And now they have Erica, who is going to get at the very fabric of the real damage that's been done by the left on the fabric of this country and destroying families. Girls don't want to have kids and they don't want to get married anymore. And I can guarantee you she's going to reach a lot of them. And if you can convince portions of a generation of young women that, you know what, this actually is a good idea to get married young, have children. You can work a career later, but have a family like Charlie convinced young men. If you can convince young women of that, the Democrat Party's dead. They are dead.
Done.
We've already taken the black vote for all intents and purposes. I mean, they don't have enough black vote left for them to be that, that base, that solid base. The Latino vote is basically gone. I don't think the Democrat Party makes it to 2028 if they make it to 2026 at this point.
I can't count the number of black votes, black accounts, black Americans who have been speaking up on social media saying, hey, you guys told us to go watch Charlie Kirk because he was a racist, he was a homophobe, he was an Islamophobe. Well, we did, and I'm sorry, but we don't see any of the crap that you're calling him. It's crazy how many accounts are posting this. I watched 30 hours of him. I watched 50 hours of his content, and I didn't see any of that stuff. You see, here's the problem. When you call somebody a fascist and you tell people to go do their own research and they do, holy crap. You should probably not even bother telling them to go look up Charlie Kirk's content because it proves you wrong every time. Look, you guys realize what you did? You brought these two people back together. You brought Elon Musk and Donald Trump back together again.
Well, it was worse than that, dude. It was, yeah, they did, but what they didn't understand is the entire roadmap for getting people out of Trump derangement syndrome. We know what that roadmap is. It starts with one instance where you were told something that Trump said or something Trump did, and you watched it and you're like, that's not what he said. I was there. I saw that. He didn't say that. Or I saw the entire. That's the roadmap that converts so many people from Trump derangement syndrome. What do you think they just did with all those black men and women who sat there for 20 and 30 hours and realized, holy crap, that's not at all who Charlie Kirk was. They just literally handed them the roadmap of how to stop being a Democrat.
That's right.
Yeah, my favorite video that I saw was this guy saying that, they'd been pushing that he was so racist and all of these things, and he went and watched, and they were pointing out the one where he was like, he said that the Civil Rights Act or something was a mistake. And what he was really saying in this whole clip, when you watch it in context, is that he's saying that race is a social construct. It's no different than your hair color or your eye color. When people see other people, of course they notice differences, but it's no different than noticing somebody's hair color or eye color. And the reason that this whole hierarchy thing got set up had nothing to do with there being a superior race. It was just the way that the guy set it up, and he was trying to just explain the social construct of it all. And they took it and twisted it into something else.
Well, he actually, there was a lot more context to that civil rights thing than just the social construct of race. The point that he was making at the end of that was, is the black community, is the black family in a better position today than they were before the civil rights, like economically? And, do they have more buying power? Is the family intact? Are they getting better educations, or do they have better opportunities today than they did prior to the Civil Rights Act, being passed? And I think the answer to that is demonstrably no, they're not. And that's a direct result of the Democrat Party. I mean, you had LBJ when they signed that, when they passed the Civil Rights Act, what did he say? He said, we'll have those N-words voting for us for 100 years after this, right? A direct quote. And the black community has not, I think, in whole, fared better than from the results of the Civil Rights. A lot more freedom, but economically, the family, they're not in better shape than they were.
Well, that was the entire point. That was the entire point of creating a great society, was to enslave an entire generation of people. That was the entire point.
Well, multiple generations, yeah.
Well,
All right.
and tear up their families. That's
right.
that's the key, and that's what Charlie Kirk was always honing in on is the family aspect. That's what makes people healthier. That's what makes people smarter. That's what makes people grow more.
I've got 2 more videos that I want to show you guys. I'm not really sure which one to do first. We'll start with this one. So you guys have all seen this. I don't think people understand exactly what they unleashed in Erica Kirk taking over as the CEO of Turning Point. I don't think you understand what has been unleashed on a society and a culture that has been crying out for somebody to lead the way. I don't think you get it. Well, she showed us last night what actual healing will look like.
That young man on the cross, our Savior said, "Father, forgive them, for they not know what they do." That man, that young man, I forgive him.
So I left that applause in there because I wanted people to see a glimpse of the reaction that all of collective humanity had when they watched that last night.
I saw videos from people that were there that said that there were audible gasps in the entire arena when she said that, and everybody stood up to cheer. And I saw a video from someone on the left that said, you know, they haven't been to church, you know, they don't know the Bible, they don't know any of these things, but they've been going to church since this happened. And seeing her and seeing the way that you know, Christians have reacted to this event has been life-changing for so many people, and they realize that the party and the people that they're associated with are not the good people. They're celebrating this person's death, where the other side is saying, you know, we forgive you.
Yep.
No, I know you have a strong opinion on this, and I want to talk about it because it is a very relevant one.
About not forgiving.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't forgive any of them. I don't. Just for one simple reason. They couldn't even have a funeral yesterday that had trash cans outside of the venue. This blew my mind. So in the wake of everything that happened, in the wake of the memorial, I made a video yesterday. I was like, I guarantee you that place will be cleaner when everybody leaves than it was when they got there. And then there are all kinds of accounts, folks out there saying, look at all the trash that they left. It turns out that the reason there was trash everywhere is because the city workers, the police, and the security, the event security said, leave your trash where it is. Turning Point paid a cleaning service to come and clean it up because they weren't allowed to have freaking trash cans outside of the venue because they were afraid Democrats were going to put freaking bombs in them and blow them up. That's the world that we currently live in with these people. They couldn't take bags in because they're afraid someone's going to try to sneak in and try to shoot people. And they had bulletproof glass on the stage in a closed stadium. In a closed stadium, they had bulletproof glass up there where everybody that was speaking stood behind it because they were afraid someone was going to assassinate somebody else. So I'm sorry. I do not forgive any of them because that's the current state of where we are with these people. And I've done everything I could not to drop F-bomb after F-bomb, but they could fuck off. Sorry.
You don't need to apologize because I want to be very clear about something. Erica Kirk is commanded to forgive the trespasses against her. We, the body of Christ, are commanded to forgive the trespasses against us, but we are not in any way, shape, or form commanded to forget. As a matter of fact, the Bible is very clear. We have very specific directives that we are expected to expose and to root out evil here on earth. That is the commandment that we have. Forgiveness has nothing to do with the assassin. It has to do with Erica Kirk and the spiritual implications of forgiveness, allowing the Holy Spirit to come in to heal the trauma in her life and in her family's life so that she can become the effective leader that she's being raised up to be. Unforgiveness is one of the most toxic, spiritually destructive footholds or strongholds that the enemy uses to torment people. Her forgiveness was for her. It had nothing to do with him. But there ain't no way in hell any of us are expected to forget or just to move on, to pretend like we're not dealing with a satanic death assassination cult, and to deal with it accordingly. As a matter of fact, we are commanded. The word says that the Savior was manifest here on earth to destroy the works of the devil. And what you're seeing happen right now in our culture is the works of the devil. Our commandment is to destroy it. To destroy it. It's not to play with it. It's not to pat it on its head and tell them it's okay, you'll do better next time. It is literally to eradicate it. It's to destroy it. It's that simple. But the reason why Erica Kirk had to come out in front of that microphone yesterday, and regardless of how painful it was for her, is because it's necessary. So I don't know if you guys know who a guy by the name of Kim Clement is. Nom, have you ever heard of him?
Yes, I have. Although I thought it was a woman, actually.
It is
but yes,
not
I've
a
heard of
woman.
him. No,
SK,
I know.
are you familiar with Kim Clement?
Yeah, I think I've done some research on her, but I'm not sure where it is.
Kim.
I'd have to flip through a notebook.
All right. Kim Clement is probably one of the most accurate modern day prophets of all time. He's the one who prophesied Donald Trump becoming president back in the early 2000s, not only once, but twice. Just a total litany of prophecies that he shared. And before you, it looks like you're getting ready to say something, SK. I want you to.
No, I remembered. As soon as you said that, I remembered exactly who it was. I remembered the video.
This is about 4 minutes of a prophecy that Kim Clement issued back in 2011. I want you guys to listen to this, and I want you to tell me what you hear when he's done. Come on, technology.
And Lord, the betrayal that has been so evident in the White House, bring that to an end. I see a president that shall come, and this is not to speak bad about this one. There is a president who will come. And God says he will have absolutely no fear. Absolutely no fear. Will be decisive, make decisions. And then in the middle of the restoration of America, rapidly, because of a source of energy that shall come quickly, and because of medical breakthroughs, and because of agreements between nations, specifically China. God said they shall say, we never dreamed this would happen. They said that this in Japan would never happen. But God says, listen to me. As the beginning of the restoration, as it begins, there shall be a woman that shall rise up. A woman that shall be strong in faith, virtuous, beautiful in eyes, and her eyes shall be so beautiful. Her eyes shall be round and big. I have crowned her, says the Lord, as I crowned Esther. And the people shall receive her, for she shall have the oil of gladness for the pain and the mourning that is taking place. And she shall pour out the oil. Is there some oil here, please? Marty, is there some oil? She shall pour out the oil on this nation. And God says healing shall begin, and then it shall flow rapidly. Schools will be free from potential damage and danger, shootings and murder, drug addiction. Cartels shall be afraid of a woman anointed by God, a woman set aside. And God says they will say we hated her, but now we love her. For she shall take the oil of healing and she shall pour it upon the scars of those left and those right, and of the new party that has come forth and emerged, where they shall say Christ will reign, and this we shall not implement at all socialism, where where they have said we will make history without God. No, you will not. No, you will not, says the Lord. For I chose this nation before it was founded. Before anybody came here, I chose this entire nation, all 50 states, every one of them, to send my gospel to the entire earth. Do you think I have changed my mind? Therefore, the healing that is necessary for this nation shall come at a time in the middle of the presidency. There shall be a woman that shall come, and God said there shall be oil that shall be poured upon the nation, and they shall suddenly feel the healing, and they shall say, it is well with my soul, it is well with our soul. For the soul of America has been corrupted, the soul of this nation has been corrupted with bitterness and anger, and God said she shall say, no more bitterness, no more anger, no more division, and shall pour the oil that shall come from the Spirit of the Lord himself. If you as a nation believe it, if you want this, lift your voice and shout one more time and say yes.
That's incredible.
That was 14 years ago. 14 years ago, Kim Clement gave that prophecy about a woman who was going to be anointed with the Esther anointing. Folks, I don't know if you are in the same place that I am from a spiritual perspective, but understand this. What happened last night on that stage where Erica Kirk gave herself the opportunity to forgive is when that crown was placed on her head. Now, I want to read something to you. So for those of you guys that aren't familiar with who Esther is, I'm not going to do a long biblical sermon or anything like that, but this is amazing. Esther in the Bible is the Jewish heroine of the book of Esther in the Old Testament. She was a young Jewish woman named Hadassah, living in Persia during the reign of King Assur, whatever his name is. Orphaned, she was raised by her cousin Mordecai. And listen to this, SK. Esther became queen after winning a beauty contest to replace Queen Vashti.
You should play the clip.
Oh, the clip of her being crowned.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't send it to myself, but I have it. Folks, there's a clip out there of her being crowned as Miss, was it Arkansas?
No, Arizona.
Arizona. Yeah, Miss Arizona.
Wait, was it?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Holy moly.
Oh, I was on mute. It was Arizona. It's like it was 2012, if I'm not mistaken. Or 11.
I can send it to myself.
It was 13 years
13,
ago.
okay.
Yeah, I think it was 2011, 2012, or 2012, 2013. It says two dates, I think, on the bottom of the video.
Mm-hmm. You don't need to play it.
I-
We get the point. Yeah. She was
go ahead.
she was Miss Arizona.
So what is the Charlie Kirk effect? The Charlie Kirk effect is twofold. You guys thought you were taking out somebody who had differing political views than you, and really what you were doing is you were unlocking a prophecy that was given many, many, many years ago to unleash a healing anointing across this country where the scars of radical leftism will start to be healed. But in order for that to happen, accountability has to come, because you can't heal open wounds that continue to fester. You have to be able to deal with the rot and the corruption that persists. And we're starting to see movement on that. I had just seen a clip earlier today of someone, I think it was on MSNBC, lamenting the fact that they're starting to hear from back channels that Jim Comey's indictment is probably coming down in the next week, which means you're going to start to see a floodgate of accountability coming. You're going to start to see,
but the pushback's going to be so huge. Yep.
The pushback.
They're not giving this up easy. They're not giving it up easily.
That's fine. That's fine. But that's why a fiery Stephen Miller is such an important component of this. Because remember, he's the one who's driving the strategy. You can bet your rear end that Stephen Miller is the one behind this, designating Antifa as a domestic terrorist organization.
Yep. That's a big deal.
It has to be rooted out at its core, at its root. Go ahead.
Trace the funding. Trace the funding. You can take, if you just start tracing the funding, you can literally disable all of the corruption and everything. You can find every person, every organization involved.
Yep. Yeah.
So what does this do? What does this designation do?
Yeah. So I mean, this doesn't go far enough. Okay. And here's why. They're gonna have to, I think Andy No was talking about this. There's a lot of folks who get the bigger picture. They're gonna have to go to the international Antifa organizations. They're gonna have to designate them as terrorist organizations as well. But I mean, I've said this probably 20 times since probably 10 minutes after Charlie was assassinated, that this is going to open up the entire toolkit of everything that the federal government has in its power to track down and to arrest and prosecute, if not kill, all of these people. Patriot Act is now in play. 702 queries is now in play with all of these people. FISA warrants are now in play. We know what that gets us, right? The 2 and 3 hops, where if I'm communicating with PatriotDad, I also get to see everybody that PatriotDad is communicating with, and then everybody that PatriotDad is communicating with, right? So all of those FISA warrants and those 2-hop rules are now in play. Joint terrorism task forces inside the U.S., the partnerships with all of the state and local partners to help do this, to track this stuff down. The subpoena power to gather financial data, financial records, communications, everything. The NSA, everything the NSA has. 5 Eyes, 9 Eyes, 14 Eyes partners, intelligence sharing now all comes into play, especially when you designate the international Antifa organizations as a terrorist organization as well. It's all in play. That everything that we were able to do to Al Qaeda and ISIS and all those other terrorist organizations is now going to be brought to bear on these animals, because that's exactly what they are. They're absolute animals. They couldn't even hold a funeral without fear of bombs going off and freaking trash cans. And I probably didn't even nail all of it. I mean, they probably have so many tools in that toolkit that I don't even know about. But I mean, that's just the stuff that any random person should know. And we have it on good authority that Antifa, all the folks here in the U.S. are starting to go underground because they're scared shitless, which might actually get us a little bit of peace in the streets for a while, hopefully. But we'll see, because they better not be on the streets. You can't have JB Pritzker or Newsom over there saying, sorry, we're not helping you, we're not helping you find terrorists in our streets. That ain't going to work. They'll just go and federalize the entire police force.
That's right.
To do it.
That's right. SK, what do you think this does to, because we know that Antifa is connected with radical Islamic terrorism also. We know that they are nearly one and the same at this point, using the same funding mechanisms, a lot of the same communication channels. How designating them as a terrorist organization, what else does it open up besides just finding these freaking lunatics, these domestic terrorists, in terms of finding the core, the center of actual radical Islamic terror?
Well, it opens up a lot of things. I think that as far as, like I said, tracing the funding, finding all of the people that have been responsible for all of the corruption that's been taking place, the people that have been pulling the strings, giving the directions, because the Antifa people that are at the protests and riots and, doing their armed guarding and causing problems and things like that, those people are not those aren't the people in charge. They aren't the ones giving the orders. You have foreign governments involved. You have, the communists, Marxists, all of those people. You have entire political parties. There's so much. The web is so deep and so intricate. If they can start tracing it and they can get to the people that they need to get to, I mean, they're going to disable a huge portion of political operatives.
That's right. That's right. All right. Before we wrap up,
and other operatives too. I mean, the entire legal aspect of the people that protect Antifa. I mean, there's entire legal networks. I mean, we saw Keith Ellison holding up the Antifa handbook, and he's the AG in Minnesota, right?
Yeah.
He's part of that legal network. That legal network that they exist to defend and bail them out and defend them in court. Yeah, well funded.
Yeah. And one of them is the one that people usually leave out is the National Lawyers Guild. And you should look at the list of people that are involved in the National Lawyers Guild and see how many of them have been elected officials or are currently elected officials.
That's right. That's right. All right, Nom, we're running out of time here. I got one more topic I want to hit very quickly. I saw you did a video on this today, and I'm hoping that you can walk us through it. CNN is reporting some new findings as a result of the lunacy that's happening on the left. I'm going to throw up, and I hope this is the right one. If not, then we'll get to the right one. I want to throw this up real quick. Give us a little bit of rundown on what you were talking about earlier today with this graphic.
Well, okay, so that's the sort of the second one, but it's fine. So I mean, CNN was forced to admit that when it comes to the midterms, because Democrats think they've got the midterms wrapped up already, which I don't really understand how you do that when you've got 17 to 18% approval rating. But this is where the Republican Party currently is in polling as compared to where they were in 2022. Republicans had a 12-point advantage in 2022 on the economy. Now they've only got +7, but that's because we're not talking about the economy. We don't have to. All we got to do is keep showing how psychotic these people are. On immigration, Republicans were +3 in 2022. They have a 10-point gain since then. And now from 13 to 22, they've gained 9 additional points on the topic of crime just since 2022. This is disaster for a party that is not in power. Yeah, this is where we are now, right? So right now on the economy, Republicans have a 7-point advantage to Democrats, 13-point advantage on immigration, and 22-point advantage on crime over the Democrats. These are kitchen table issues, right? These are the issues that people vote for. And another kitchen table issue that didn't have to exist, but they did this in 2024 election as well when they tried to assassinate President Trump, was political violence. Is it now a kitchen table issue? Now you have to look down the street and say, that guy over there cheered when Charlie Kirk got killed. That's a conversation that every family in America is currently having. Who do you think is going to have an advantage on that one? Democrats? No.
Not the people who are posting on their social media that they're happy about someone being assassinated. That's for damn sure.
Total disaster for the Democrats.
And you have kids, that are standing up, wanting to be proud and wanting, asking for MAGA hats or Charlie Kirk merch and things like that. And then you have parents that are, having to say to their kids, like, listen, you need to understand the risk that you're taking by wearing these articles of clothing. You could be a target at school. You could be a target at the grocery store. And we're talking about kids.
That's right. That's right.
Yep.
All right, folks, that is it for us. A little over an hour. Hey, for those of you guys who don't know, we had no outline today. It was just like, look, what do we want to talk about? And we had pulled some graphics. Yeah, SK.
I want to say one thing before we go.
Yep.
I keep seeing a lot of people all over the internet talking about separation of church and state when it comes to the things that they saw on the TV. The First Amendment says that the government will not establish a national religion. There will never be a national religion for the United States, and you will not be forced to be a part of a religion, and you will be free to exercise the religion that you exercise. I also would love for people to leave in the comments, please. Tell me why it is that you think Christian nationalism is bad. Why can't you be a Christian and be a nationalist at the same time? Because if you're not a nationalist, you're an internationalist, and then you're sounding like Antifa and the socialist parties. But why are they making Christian nationalism bad words? Because you can be a Christian and you can be a nationalist at the same time and still have the government not establishing a national religion. The Constitution says nothing about separation of church and state. It says that the government will not establish a national religion. It's the establishment
I have a very different approach to this argument of separation of church and state. We have tried to reason with these lunatics. We have tried to pull up the historical document showing that the first introduction of the concept of separation of church and state was a letter that was written to a group of pastors that effectively told them, don't worry about it. We're going to build a veil between the state and you. Had nothing to do with a veil between church and the state. It had to do with the state encroaching on the church. But at this point, I don't care. I'm done trying to reason with these people. You think that we're not, you think that you have the territory, that you own the territory now to be able to tell Christians that we're not allowed in the public square and that we can't express our beliefs. Pound sand. Jump off of whatever bridge you're standing on, because we don't give a crap anymore. We're not listening to you anymore. We don't care. We will pray where we want to pray. We will speak the name of Jesus over whatever we want to speak the name of, whether that be our country, our town square, our capital, our White House, our president. We will lay hands on every representative in this country, and we will declare the blood of Jesus over it. And you can't do a damn thing about it. You can't do a damn thing about it, because you don't own the culture anymore. In case you haven't figured it out, the Charlie Kirk effect is that we own the culture now, and there's nothing that you can do about it. And we don't care anymore what you think about it.
Clip that. That was fantastic.
That was
Piss
great.
Off.
With that, Patriot Mom's gonna get on to you.
No,
Go.
you should be happy about that one.
Kick it
With
off.
That
get us out of here.
I get to show us the really cool exit video again, and I'm pretty excited about it. Man, that pissed me off. I don't care about your separation of church and state, people. You don't own the culture anymore. And I'm just kind of filling time until I can get this video pulled up.
Well, I mean, it's amazing to talk about separation of church and state while they're free Palestine, go Gaza. What do you think that Islamists want to do here? What do you think they're doing in Minnesota? What do you think they're doing in Dearborn? What do you think they're doing in northern Columbus?
You want us either. I think there was a movie about this wall. America, you want us on this wall
instead of them. Yes.
You want us in the culture defending against what these people have planned for you. And the fact that these radical lunatic leftists don't like it, I don't give a rip. Not even a little bit. None.
Maybe a little bit.
Damn it. Now
all right, get us out of here.
Hold on. I'm trying. Hold on. I'm trying. I'll get us out of here. By the way, thank you. Thank you very much to Ashton Hicks Studios for this incredible exit video. You're the man. I just got to get it to play.
Looks great, Ashton. If Junior over here can ever get it to play.
The bullets and the punches and the riots have been flowing in only one direction for too long.
I've been trying to tell you guys this whole time how corrupt all of these things were, and here we are.
It is not our responsibility to fix something they spent years intentionally trying to destroy. Unity can only happen in a country when you have a people who agree on what the outcome should be.